Remember when time seemed to stretch forever? When summers felt endless, and the days leading up to your birthday felt like an eternity? Fast forward to now, and it feels like you blink. Then suddenly, it's the end of the year. Again, what's going on? Why does time feel like it's speeding up as we age? Our clocks tick the same way, but why does our mind scream, "Where did the time go?" Here's the thing. This time isn't actually speeding up, it's just that we've been measuring it wrong. Over a century ago, French philosopher Henri Bergson cracked this strange phenomenon wide open. He argued that we've been conditioned by clocks, calendars, and deadlines to see time as nothing more than a cold, laconical number line, but Bergson's theory, called la Durée, says that real time isn't about seconds and minutes. It's about your memories, your emotions, and how you experience life's moments. Think about it, your daily routine turns time into a blur, but a spontaneous adventure with friends can feel like it stretches on forever, because your brain is truly living it. So is time really shrinking, or are we just letting it slip through our fingers without realizing it? Stick around, because we reread diving into Bergson's mind-bending theory, and how you can reclaim time before it's gone. You are not imagining it. Birthdays, holidays, even Mondays, they all seem to hit you like a high-speed train now. One minute, you're setting New Year's resolutions, and the next, you're scrambling for Halloween costumes. Wasn't it just June yesterday? Well, science backs this up. Studies show that for most adults over the age of 30, time seems to accelerate every year, but why? For decades, psychologists have debated this with the proportional theory. When you were 10 years old, a year is 10% of your life. At 50, it's just 2%. Your brain literally scales time based on age, but that's only part of the story. Neuroscience tells us that routine kills our perception of time. When life becomes too predictable, same commute, same meetings, same Netflix binge, the brain stops creating vivid memories, and time collapses into a blur. Now here's where it gets wild. Bergson and Einstein actually had a debate over time. Einstein's theory of relativity treats time as a fourth dimension, pas a fixed, measurable tick that works the same everywhere in the universe. But Bergson called this a crime against how we experience life. To him, Einstein's time was a convenient illusion, but real time is fluid, personal, and shaped by our consciousness. Think of it like this. Einstein's time is what your clock measures. Bergson's time is what you feel when you are laughing with friends, grieving a loss, stuck in traffic, or lost in a moment of creative flow. Science measures intervals. Philosophy asks, why does a minute of boredom drag on forever, but a year of joy seems to vanish in an instant? This clash between Einstein and Bergson was a battle of worldviews. For Einstein, time was physics, a set of numbers and measurements. But for Bergson, time was the essence of being human, a story, a feeling, something you live, not something you calculate. For Einstein, aging was a cosmic equation. For Bergson, it was a tragedy of modern life. How we've traded depth for efficiency, rich moments for hollow productivity. We've allowed clocks to dictate our worth, shrinking our sense of time into a series of spreadsheet cells. So what's really happening? Is time speeding up, or are we just numbing ourselves to its flow? The answer lies in Bergson's rebellion against the tyranny of the clock. Imagine two versions of time. The clock time, cold, relentless, always the same, split into seconds, minutes, and hours, and lived time, warm, elastic, unpredictable. The kind you feel when you are lost in a deep conversation, an artistic flow, or even a personal crisis. Bergson called the second version of time la durée, which means duration. It's the cornerstone of his philosophy. To him, time isn't a straight line. It's a river on a river that bends, swells, and changes speed depending on where you are in it. While science slices time into neat, measurable intervals, Bergson insisted that real time is the raw, unfiltered experience of being alive. Now in modern life, we retaught to see time as a resource, commodity to spend or waste. Bergson warned that this mindset turns us into prisoners of efficiency. We allow clocks and calendars to define our worth. But clocks aren't the truth about time. They are just a tool we created to organize society. A map of Paris, for example, is not Paris. Similarly, clock time isn't time itself. It's just a simplified version of it. Bergson's La Durée is more like a symphony time, as your consciousness perceives it, a flowing, interconnected stream of memories, sensations, and emotions. That's why 10 minutes of waiting in a boring meeting can feel like an eternity, while 10 minutes spent laughing with friends can pass in the blink of an eye. Your brain doesn't count seconds. It weaves stories. When you are bored, your mind fixates on each passing moment, stretching it. When you re-engage, your attention dissolves into the experience and time seems to fly by. Bergson called this the paradox of intensity. The richer the moment, the faster it seems to vanish. Our memories trick us into thinking that time is slipping away faster than ever. But here's where it gets radical. Your past isn't dead. It's alive. It's shaping how you experience the present. Every memory, habit, and emotion bleeds into your perception of now. Trauma can make minutes feel like hours. Nostalgia can make decades feel like yesterday. This is why aging warps time. As you get older, your brain has fewer firsts. First kiss, first job, first adventure. Think of those vivid memories. Life becomes routine. And without those new markers, your mind lumps days into generic chunks. Time shrinks. It's not just about aging. It's about how you experience each moment, how you interact with time. So where does this lead us? In modern life, we're drowning in clock time productivity, apps deadlines, endless scrolling. Our attention is fractured, and life has become a checklist. But Bergson offers a solution. Rebel against the tyranny of the clock, seek novelty. Dive into art, nature, or conversations that make you lose track of time. The more you immerse yourself in the present, the richer your sense of time becomes. Here's a little thought experiment. Picture two different experiences. Scenario 1. You're waiting in line at the DMV, checking your phone every minute. Time crawls. Your brain, starved for stimulation, amplifies your boredom. Scenario 2. You're at a concert, lemming at the top of your lungs with strangers. And before you know it, hours have passed. You'll remember that concert as a vivid blur, not because time sped up, but because you were fully immersed in the experience. Bergson's Durée is the feeling of truly living in the moment. It is not about how long something lasts. It is about how deeply you experience it. Clocks measure both experiences the same, but to Bergson, the concert felt longer because you lived it. In today's world, we're obsessed with productivity and efficiency. We measure our lives in minutes, yet we experience them in moments. Bergson warned that this focus on efficiency suffocates la durée. We've replaced adventure with algorithms, spontaneity with schedules, but clocks don't measure life. They measure the time between obligations. The solution: break the routine. Seek out novelty. When you do this, you force your brain to wake up to create vivid time-stretching memories. So next time you find yourself asking, where did the week go? Remember that it's not the clock you should blame, it's your habits. The good news is that you can reset your perception of time. You have the power to make time feel rich again. Try this. Become a tourist in your own life. Take a different route to work. Try a new hobby. Do something that scares you even just a little. Break free from the routine. Mindfulness too can help. When you're fully present, you anchor yourself in la durée. You stop your brain from rushing through moments, turning them into blurred memories. The next time you find yourself lost in a routine, take a step back and ask, am I living my life, or just counting the hours? In Bergson's world, and time is not something to measure, it's something to feel. So how about it? When did time feel slowest for you? Was it during a childhood summer, a heartbreak, or maybe a moment of awe? Drop your story below, and let's start a conversation. Time is what we make of it, and together we can make it richer.